So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Hey, what's really good? It's your girl LaTangela Fay, and today in the hot seat on the tan line, we're going to speak to a living legend. We can spin this story so many different ways, but the life and the legacy, and even the focal point of Mr. Pete Babcock is going to take us all on a journey and yet center our focus. Now, just reading through some of the bullet points they sent, he's a veteran NBA executive, but it all started by saying, hey, look, I'll put in the work, I'll volunteer, I'll go to the team that takes me for free. And you know, something about the word free motivates not just me, but a lot within the industry. And someone gave him a chance. The New Orleans Jazz at the time. He's going to give us the inside scoop on that. But that sparked from becoming a high school coach to doing some work with New Orleans Jazz at the time. And within his 40 years in the industry, across 8 different franchises that we all know, love, and cheer for, as a scout, a coach, a general manager, and a team president, you're going to find levels of inspiration somewhere in this. This is an onion, and the more levels and the more layers I began to peel, the more I started to feel like this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. He has his autobiography that's available, and it's entitled Courts of Justice. Now, what does this have to do with his purpose? It's deeper than basketball. And I don't want you to miss this. So make sure that you keep it locked. I want you to check this out in depth and log on to get your copy of this book, Autobiography of Pete Babcock, Courts of Justice. Log on to PeteBabcock.com. So you be sure to keep it locked right where you have it. Hey now, what you say now? It's your girl LaTangela Fay with GT Legacy Auto and this beautiful Audi A4. Oh, it's Tan Fave pick of the week. She is platinum with a black interior and price to move today. Good credit, bad credit, slow, ain't quite show credit. Let us take care of you and yours today. Ooh, wait a minute. Don't mind me. I'm just sitting in the lap of luxury, as you should be too. GT Legacy Auto, enough space for you and your crew. And you already know there's sunroof. It checks out. Pull up on me. Let's go. Stop by for your test drive at GT Legacy Auto, 7272 Airline Highway. Good morning, good morning, good morning, sunshine. How are you?
Good morning, LaTangela. How are you?
I am even better now that I have you in the hot seat and on the tan line. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking time out of your schedule. I know you've been busy, but
Anytime. I'm happy to do it anytime.
look, don't tell me that because I'm going to hold you to it.
You call me anytime. I will, I'll hold you to it too. Call me back.
Say less, consider it done. You know, you have
Okay.
been within this industry for 4 decades, and within that, you found so many ups and highlights. I was going through it, and the more I read, the more in awe I became. So, veteran NBA executive with over 40 years across 8 different franchises. It's one thing just being an observer of the game, thinking I love the game, but you clearly have a different purpose and passion for it. Tell me a little bit about your start and how you landed on that hardwood.
Well, it's kind of a long story, but I was a high school basketball coach, always enamored by the NBA. Grew up as a Boston Celtics fan because my family was all from New England, even though we lived out west quite a bit. Excuse me. And so I thought, well, I need to learn something about the NBA. So I started videotaping every game I could videotape for a whole season. And I broke those tapes down and built files on them. charted their plays, out of bounds plays, special situations, notes on players, strengths and weaknesses. Um, Built these files for an entire season just to do like a self-education project on the NBA. And then at the end of the year, we didn't have computers in those days or emails, so I wrote a hard letter copy letter and sent the report to each GM and head coach. And I just said in the letter, you don't know me, I'm a high school coach. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. Here's a report I wrote in your team this year. If you think there's any value to this report, I'd like to volunteer to scout for your team for free. And all teams come through to play the Phoenix Suns, I'll go down and scout them for you, write a report, mail it to you. One team said yes, the New Orleans Jazz.
Yeah.
Elgin Baylor was the head coach, and Bill Burka was the GM at the time. And they let me work for them for 2 years for free, which helped me learn. I made my mistakes. I got better at doing scouting games, and they helped really mentor me through that process. And then that led to 2 years with the Lakers as a part-time scout. That led to 2 years with the Bucks as a regional scout. And then Paul Silas became the head coach of the San Diego Clippers in 1980, and he hired me to be one of his assistant coaches. And now I was in the league full time.
Now, was that the
And from that,
ultimate goal for you? Did you want to go from scouting and doing the research to actually getting into the game of coaching? Because even from
oh
coaching,
yeah,
it led you to different levels to the offices of doing different things.
right. No, at that time, my goal was to coach in the NBA. And so Paul gave me the first opportunity, and I spent several years on the bench with Paul. And then an opportunity opened up. A new general manager came into San Diego, and he offered to promote me to director of player personnel, but I had to move into the front office to do it. Um, so I made the career decision to move off the bench, go into the front office, and then eventually I became the GM there. And
Wow.
then when Sterling moved the team to Los Angeles. Um, then I thought I got to get away from Sterling and his craziness, so I resigned and never went to LA and signed with the Denver Nuggets and worked up to become president and GM and a minority owner with the Nuggets my last 2 years I was there. And then from there went to Atlanta for 13 and a half years, and then Toronto, and then Cleveland, and then retired.
Mr. Babcock, you have to say that is a phenomenal story. From writing in saying, I'll do this for free to becoming that guy. Like, there's absolutely no way
Yeah.
you could make this any better than living it and giving us the recap, which you've done. And autobiography, Courts of Justice. What has been some of the highlights for you just going through that entire process? Because you've seen a lot change, not just within the game, but within the business, with the mentality of the players, the owners, the fans, the loyalty of what it took to build a dynasty. A lot of factors have changed.
A lot has changed, and the one constant that has always drawn me to the NBA is that the game of basketball has always been a vehicle that has helped the civil rights movement and has
Mhm.
helped integration. So the first half of my book, first part of my book, is on the history of black basketball, because the black basketball leagues in the very beginning, which were all black, they actually started to integrate their teams. So it wasn't just the all white leagues integrating, it was the all black leagues before the all white leagues. They were the first ones to integrate. So they brought in white coaches and some white players to play on their teams. So the black basketball leagues actually integrated first, and they started breaking down barriers because as the players became friends, got to know one another, that they now respected one another. You're breaking down those barriers of ignorance, which is basically all prejudice and discrimination is people don't know something, so they're afraid of it, and that they grow up that way. So
Right.
having that knowledge breaks down those barriers, and the game became this vehicle for it. And so that's always drawn me to the game. So not just the wins and losses and building a team, but it's how can you use the vehicle of the NBA and the vehicle of your franchise to reach the underserved and hopefully improve their lives.
And I'm grateful that that's a message that you noticed and that you're willing to educate us all on. And you're doing it through a form of edutainment because we all love basketball and we all know that sports, especially here, sports, it'll make you forget who you're standing next to or not. We want the win and we will rally together to get it. And it's just a conversation that needs to be held. That's history that needs to be told. And knowing that you saw
Exactly.
it in real time and understand it, that's really walking us through it. And the autobiography, Courts of Justice, to show the level of importance it had to you to say, this is the angle I want to take, because you've had so many other areas that you could have spun this story from. But for that to be the core and the depth, it speaks volumes as of who you are. And I appreciate you for that. And it also aligns with how God has moved you throughout this course to learn that for this moment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate those comments. It's opened the door for me to have great experiences too, because, for example, one of my childhood heroes, uh, because I was a student during the civil rights movement, was John Lewis. And
Right.
then when I went to Atlanta and spent 13 years in Atlanta, I had the opportunity to become good friends with John, and we worked together in a number of projects. And whenever I called him and said, "Would you come talk to our team?" He never said no. He always came and met with our team and would share his experiences, what it was like on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, what it was like working with Dr. King, what it was like being one of the original freedom riders. And we would always get his latest book for all our players to help educate our players about the pioneers that really laid the groundwork for all of us. So the game itself has helped me and helped me have experiences I otherwise would not have had.
Absolutely. And I want you to think of this as an extension of your office. So, New Orleans Jazz was the first spot. I'm here in Louisiana.
Right.
Pull up on me.
You're
This is
right.
an extension of your office. I encourage
Okay.
everyone to get the autobiography, Courts of Justice, and they can do that by logging on to PeteBabcock.com. Again, that's PeteBabcock.com. I'm ordering my copy today. I need it autographed so I can put it in my office. It is the highlight
I
of the
will
year
autograph
for
it.
me.
I will definitely sign it for you. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I know you have more work to do, so I'm gonna let you chase the sun or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Well, thank you very much. And you call me anytime you want to talk about this, okay?
I will. This is just a warm up. Put me in, coach. Let's
Okay.
go.
Very good. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you. All right. Bye-bye.